Hello and welcome back to another edition of At the Movies with QCTV. Today we're talking about the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or should I say multiverse, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And that's just a great pulpy title, isn't it? By the way, if you're wondering about the mustache, it's because I am not the Seamus from this universe. I'm actually Seamus from Earth 227. This is the sequel to 2016's Doctor Strange, but also follows up on events from Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, and the Disney Plus original series WandaVision. Now, I know that's a lot to catch up on if you're behind, but I will say WandaVision is particularly important to understand and appreciate the context of this movie, so just bear that in mind. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness sees Benedict Cumberbatch reprise his titular role as he traverses the multiverse with a superpowered youngster, America Chavez, played by Xochitl Gomez. Along the way, they encounter some weird and sometimes terrifying magic as they work to save all of reality from a massive multiversal threat. Also reprising their roles from the original 2016 film are Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer, Benedict Wong as Wong, and Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo. Elizabeth Olsen also returns as Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, following up on her latest outing in WandaVision. As is the case with many new Marvel films, this will be tough to talk about without any spoilers, so apologies in advance if this review is a little bit vague. I'm going to start off by talking about the directing of this movie because, for me, it was one of the major standout elements. This film is directed by veteran director Sam Raimi in his first MCU outing. Raimi has a background in horror, directing films such as the first installments of the Evil Dead franchise, Army of Darkness, and the Spider-Man trilogy from the early 2000s starring Tobey Maguire. Raimi's horror roots really shine through in this film, and I think this is the scariest MCU film to date. It really pushes the boundaries of its PG-13 rating. You can tell that Raimi really wanted to make this movie weird, trippy, and kind of scary, and these strong tonal and genre choices fit this story and the characters very well, and make this movie stand out in the Goliath that is the MCU. One critique I hear and somewhat agree with about the MCU at large is that many of the movies can feel kind of samey. Similar tone, similar sense of humor, similar designs, color palette, etc. But Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness really breaks the mold, and I credit a lot of these bold choices to Raimi's direction. On top of that, the visual effects in this movie are top-notch. Many of the stylized effects from the first film carry over, but they're expanded upon and fleshed out in new ways that make everything feel fresh and exciting. Wandering the multiverse is as fun, crazy, and weird as you'd expect, and it's rendered through special effects that make it look and feel like you've stepped directly into a comic book from the 70s or 80s. Benedict Cumberbatch feels like he was born to play Doctor Strange, and in this movie, I think he gives his best performance as the character so far. He's dealing with the weight and consequences of his actions in Avengers Infinity War / Endgame, not only on a global or cosmic scale, but on a very personal one as well. We see what he sacrifices to stop Thanos and the ripples that has on his personal life. On top of that, we even see multiple versions of Doctor Strange in this movie from different universes, and he manages to give them each distinctive characterization and make them feel unique, which is, believe me, no small feat. We also see Doctor Strange take on the role of the mentor as he tries to teach America Chavez how to control her powers and find her place in the multiverse. The teacher-student relationship between these two characters is the emotional core of the movie and really evolves Strange as a character, pushing him well beyond what we've seen of him so far. I'm also happy to report that Rachel McAdams' Christine Palmer is given a much more active part in this movie and gets some really amazing fun and frightening moments that she gets to shine in. I also want to highlight Elizabeth Olsen as a standout for this movie. She's riding some excellent momentum from WandaVision, and I can't really discuss her role in this film without getting into spoiler territory, but what I will say is she gives an outstanding performance in this movie, which is unlike anything we've seen from her or this character so far. As with all MCU movies, there are several fun cameos and crossover appearances that I won't spoil for you here, of course. But I will say, however, that this movie doesn't go overboard with these cameo appearances. I had a worry that after Spider-Man No Way Home, we'd be seeing a lot more cameos like that movie had, but done in a cheap or cheesy way. Thankfully, though, this movie steers well clear of that and is very focused on telling an excellent Doctor Strange story. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a sequel that improves and expands upon the original film with stellar performances, great visual effects, and strong, bold direction from Sam Raimi. If you're a Marvel fan, this is a big recommendation from me. The movie is out in theaters right now, so check it out and be sure to tell us what you thought in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more great stories from QCTV. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.